Hello and welcome. I'm Ellie Paskell, and this is the Radically Embodied You somatic journey. When your native instincts are allowed to flow free, who do you become? It's time to find out. It's time to bring back the deeply true you and let their unfettered impulses recreate our world. This is a space in which you will retrieve and remember pieces of your native soma. That's every level of who you really are. For freedom, for vitality, for solidity of knowing, for integrity, and for delight. And it gives me real joy to say that here supporting you to contact and retrieve and remember your soma right now, we have Adam Barley. Welcome, Adam.
Thank you, Ellie. Hi, everybody.
So in case you're not familiar with Adam's work, I will say some words right now about where he's coming from. So Adam Barley is the founder of 01, a creative movement meditation practice. He began studying healing and meditation in the early 80s, training with Gabrielle Roth in the 90s to teach the 5 rhythms. He has built a worldwide reputation for powerfully transformative embodiment work, launching 01 in early 2019. In 2020 to 21, he trained in Gabor Mate's compassionate inquiry approach. And Adam says, I'm a big cat hunter and a butterfly with a broken wing, with a teaching style that tends to both depth and vulnerability. I have faith in us as human beings, and I'm passionately committed to being part of the evolutionary jump we are engaged in. Oh, aho to that, Adam. Thank you for being here right now.
Thank you. It's sweet to hear those words echoed back to me that I wrote a few years ago now, and to recognize that they're still true for me.
Great, I'm glad. Yeah.
Thank you.
So this is a space in which the body comes first. So we're going to begin with a practice guided by Adam. So I'll hand over now. And Adam, if you could tell us what we're going to do and anything that we need to know before we start, that would be great.
Okay, great. Thank you, Ellie. So hello again, everybody. So we're going to do a movement-based practice, an embodiment practice. And I'll be moving with you on the screen. So at any time you can check in with what I'm doing and kind of follow along if that works for you. But recognize, remember that I've been doing this for a really long time now. And so the invitation is for you to do it in your way. I'll be doing it in my way and you do it in your way. So you can take part in whatever shape you're in. And chances are some of you watching this will have injuries or severe physical limitations. You might need to just be staying in your seat. You might need to tend to those physical limitations in a way where you don't override anything. So there's no prizes for kind of physical prowess or graceful elegance. So it's not really what we're going for. We're going for you having an experience of being rooted in your body and allowing yourself to be yourself as a physical being, as a physical creature. So as a kind of like human animal, that's what the invitation is here, for you to be wholly real. Wholly as in whole, complete. And that means lights and shadows. It means spirituality and sexuality. It means strength and wounding, all of it as you are. And that invitation to be as you are and respect your limitations applies also to your emotional state and your mental state. If you know that you're super vulnerable emotionally or mentally, I would suggest you take it easy, and you can just dip your toe in. If you move and breathe a lot, that will tend to catalyze your energy and awaken your self in quite a powerful way. And so if you're ready for that, then great, go all out, move a lot, breathe a lot, open the doors, and be curious about what comes, and jump over the edge. And if you know if you have a sense like that sounds scary, then respect your fears as well as your physical limitations. Respect your emotional and mental limitations, and go slow. You can always return to this recording and do it again. Is it? I'm presuming that's right, Ellie. Is that right? They can do it again. So if you can dip your toe in, and then you could return to it and do it again if it really works for you and you're curious to go deeper another time. So check your space. Check that you just have a quick look around you. Is there anything that needs clearing up? You don't want to fall over cables or water bottles or children's toys. Just check what space you have. I'm going to move my chair aside and stand. So if you're up for standing, then do so. And maybe feel what it's like to stand up. Oh, I've stood up. Right. Yeah, I can feel the floor under my feet and feel the weight of my body through my legs. I sit in my hips and look out of the window, look around my space. And I'm going to go from looking around my space to actually pacing around my space so that I physically get a sense of where I am. I'm going to touch a few objects around my edges so that my body maps out how much space I have to move safely. Okay, got a sense of your space. So how about, can you settle somewhere in that space? Settle somewhere and take a breath. Feel your feet on the ground, allowing your weight to fall through your legs, feet. And then take your arms and hands and let them gently rise and fall with your breath. Rise as you breathe in, fall as you breathe out. And again. You can have your eyes closed or open or just half closed. Breathing and moving your arms and hands and experimenting a little bit more of how you could move those arms and hands and shoulders with your breath. Just kind of loosening up, stretching out, wriggling a little, getting a sense of how your shoulders, arms, hands move with your breath. You want a sound to come out. If your body wants to make sound like moaning, groaning, yelping, whatever wants to come, then feel free. And then settle again. And just feel what's happening in your body now. Just feel the difference from having moved for a few moments. And then let's do the same with feet, legs. Taking a breath and putting your foot down. Like putting your feet down in different places somehow with your breath. Taking some steps around your space with your breath. So your inhales and exhales somehow align themselves with some of your footsteps. You feel the way that your legs and feet, hips too, are moving as you step around. You have a little dance with your feet and legs, hips, with the rhythm of your breath. And then again, coming back to some point where you can settle, pause, feel what's happening in your body now. Notice the sensations going on in your body. The way your breath is coming and going. And then let's drop into the embodiment of your breath for a third time with the whole central area of your body. So your torso, your head, your back, chest, belly. Maybe as you exhale, especially, you can release the weight of your head and spine. And let the weight of your head drop in, around, releasing the length of your spine. To go with the breath, coming and going, ebbing and flowing. And any kind of movements that want to come as you release the middle of your body to go with the breath, allowing your arms and hands, your legs and feet, everything to go with what's happening in the middle of you. Getting a sense of how your body naturally moves with your breath all over. Releasing the length of the spine from your tailbone all the way up your back, through to the top of your head. I always like to surrender control for a moment and allow your body. And then Settling a third time, pausing, breathing, feeling, noticing what's going on inside you. With whatever sense of aliveness you can feel happening in your body. You relax your face so the breath can come through your mouth as well as the nose. And you'll begin to hear the sound of drum, very quiet there. Just let that sound in. Letting these sounds in and allowing the sounds of the coming music to mingle with what's happening inside you. Like it's opening a door or doorways within your body. And you allow the music to move you. Yeah, just softly, gently, like the music is right now. Dropping into whatever way your body feels like moving with the aliveness that you have. Whether that aliveness is shaky and vulnerable, or strong and sexy, bold and adventurous. Whether you're curious or anxious. Moving with whatever sensations, feelings, impressions are showing up through your body. Letting your breath come and go freely. Allowing whatever movements might come. Letting that sense of aliveness in your body find expression through your movement. Whatever's going on, you let it out. Give your body permission to release. Allow. Feel. wants to come. You let it release through your body, through the movement, through your breath. Through sound if it wants to come. Aware of your feet, where your feet are moving. Your breath. Maybe look around you. Or even out of the window. So you're moving with the world. With the things in your room. With me, or with Ellie. Be part of the world as you move, even if it feels shy or awkward, clumsy, everything's allowed. It's okay not to really know what you're doing. Just dance anyway. Strange business of being human. I have a body. Hello, yes. Hello, body. Hello, world. And to get a sense as you move with your space, or with the world outside your window, or with me, to get a sense of your radiance. That subtle light, energy that you are. Can you feel it? A life force that moves through us all, that longs to dance and be part of life on earth. Because we are the dancing animals. Humans are dancers, singers, poets, artists, healers. How about you? What's your light? Can you feel it? In your hands and fingers? Can you feel it in your belly? Your heart? Can you feel your light roots through the soles of your feet? Can you sense it inside your breath? The open space inside your breath. Can you open into that openness that is your breath? Sensing. Through the soft animal of your body. Sensing your aliveness and your place on this beautiful planet. As a creature who dances. As the music fades, can you stay? Can you stay present? Stay.
Okay, wonderful. So I invite everybody here to take a few more moments staying present, as Adam said, with your body. What is it like for you to, whether you've got your eyes closed or resting with a soft gaze, what is it like for you to feel into this soft animal of your body, having just gone through that dance practice? I invite you to notice with great kindness what's alive in your breath. Where you feel to be breathing high or low, fast or slow. And to notice what's alive emotionally, or perhaps with sensation, or even lack of sensation. Noticing with great kindness what is here in your felt sense realm at this moment, having just been moving. Moving as this creature that you are, as Adam said, what's alive. And if you were to allow this aliveness, however it's showing up, feelings, impulses, to take all the space it needed in this moment, and potentially into the whole of your day, to let it guide you with this truth, the truth of your body's voice. How might that feel? And how might that look for you? And who would you be? The radically embodied you is you living easefully and utterly from the truth in your body. And the invitation here is to let it lead in this safe space, in this permissive space, and really see what frees up for you, always following what feels good, what feels easy. Or even if it feels edgy, following what feels like flow. What is alive in your body having taken that journey? And as Adam and I move into now some more worded space, I invite you to stay present with your body by staying present with what you feel. So perhaps you're rooted enough in your felt sense now to effortlessly do that, or perhaps you want to allow yourself to keep moving, or maybe very gently, maybe not. Or perhaps just have some contact with your body, hand on the belly perhaps. And seeing how our words land for you. What's alive? Mm. Mm. Thank you so much, Adam. I really enjoyed that. Mm. And so much of what you just guided us in was really resonant. I'm curious, what kept standing out for me was words such as soft animal and creature and vulnerability, and this concept of like the whole of what we are, you know.
Yeah.
And I'm curious for you what your journey has been, perhaps particularly as a man in this world, to be somebody who has journeyed to a place of embodiment, of making, and movement is so important in your life. And how has this happened?
Yeah, good question, particularly the slant about being a man. I remember Gabrielle Roth during our training in the mid-90s saying that she really felt for the men who were training to teach movement, because it's a particular quality of stretch, because any movement practice being rooted in the body is in some fundamental way a feminine practice, because the body is our, men and women alike, the body is our earthy bit. It's the most earthy bit of us, and in that sense there's something feminine about it. And it's more of a stretch for men to come to a practice in that way. And then also because all of our, it's like we've been building up this patriarchal structures for thousands of years, and we are in the time where it's all coming tumbling down, and very understandably there's a lot of anger towards those structures and to masculine forces that have put them in place, and that men cop a lot of that anger, particularly if they're standing up in positions of authority or leadership. And I've certainly found, particularly as I've got older, like I'm in my late 50s now, and since I got in my 50s, more of that comes directed at me. There's more challenges from the younger men trying to knock me off my perch, and quite rightly so, good stuff. And there's more fury coming from some women who clearly, we're all really super hurt. Talk about vulnerability. We're so vulnerable right now. It's a very different world from when I started teaching movement, or started getting into movement. When I think, in the late 80s, was when I first came to movement practice, there was a sort of collective need to take the lid off and just kind of let stuff out and explode and become more expressive and jump out of those very tight structures and customs and just let loose, let rip. It's like now we're off the edge and falling culturally, collectively, and there's this intense vulnerability going on. Partly I think because we all recognize, not quite all, there's some people who still looking the other way, that ecologically, environmentally, we're really in danger. We're nobbling our life support systems, but also because of our collective understanding of trauma, and that's doing something to us. And I think also because of the impact of modern technology. And I think what's often not understood is how modern technology stimulates the nervous system in such a way that the sort of constant stimulation of new information and new contacts, and the number of simultaneous conversations most of us have going on through the day with messages and phone, we're engaged in multiple levels of communication most of the time, many of us, and that's very stressful. And that kind of stressor, all these stressors that I've just mentioned, are taking us to a point of vulnerability that is really deep and profound. And I feel that it's nothing to do with being a man. That's just all of us in it together. And wow, these are really full-on times. We're recording this a couple of days after the Russians have started going into the Ukraine, and wow, what a time we live in. And I grew up really super wounded and shocked, and it took me it was a long journey for me to begin to discover how I felt, what I was feeling, let alone really connect with my body. Long journey. And those of you watching, if you're new to this, I'd really encourage you to value the length of the journey. We're very push button addicted and want instant results, but we're not a website, and we don't respond like that. We're more like a flower or a tree or some kind of organic process, and the healing process and the awakening process has its own pace. This beautiful song by Trevor Hall. It's called "You Can't Rush Your Healing." And it's true. Really beautiful song. If you don't know it, check it out. Do you know that one, Ellie?
No, I don't. It sounds
Beautiful
good.
song. God, it's good. It's really good. And it's true. You can't rush your healing and you can't rush your awakening. You can't push it, but you can put yourself in a place where you're available. I think there are things we can do that make us more available for healing and awakening to happen. And doing the kind of movement practice we've just done is a pretty powerful, effective way to do that. It's certainly been a lifeline for me. I mean, I was a mess. I was kind of borderline psychotic, high functioning psychotic, I would say, when I arrived upon my adulthood. And movement work has been absolutely fundamental for me to find my feet in the world and to find my center within myself and begin to know who I am and what I might do with that. And I think the last thing I'd say on this, somehow this kind of little monologue that you've catalyzed, Ellie, is that it's not enough to just work with your own healing and awakening right now. We have to find what the hell it is we're doing here. Like, what's your gift? You know, this is mine. And clearly, Ellie, this is yours, part of yours, to produce events like this. And I know you do somatic coaching work and so on. And this is mine. But, you know, those of you listening, what's yours? You know, that's why I was calling you to sense what your place in the world is and the nature of your radiance, the nature of your light, and the nature of your gift. And we're all here for something. And now is the time, like really, now is the time for boldly giving before it's perfect.
Yeah, boldly giving before it's perfect.
Yeah,
for sure. And yeah, I love you know, this piece of the movement practice. And hearing you speak, it's got me thinking about how, to be honest, why it's been so integral for me the past 8 years in this process of dropping into my body, and why dropping into my body was so integral, because so many of the ideas that I had about myself and life as a whole were not true. They were grounded in collective myths. We've been detached, and so we have a collective myth like we can keep taking from the earth and not give back and it'll be okay, or if I keep running from my feelings and keep busy, I won't ever have to feel them. And it's okay. Like, I don't think things go wrong. I think it was always going to be this way, but it was always going to be this unraveling, and we were always going to come to the point where it was time to see the truth. And I heard you around that piece of high functioning psychotic, and it made me aware of the points in my journey when I've simply had to come to my body, because as my old senses of self, and indeed therefore these pieces of the kind of patchwork of belief systems, just started to crumble, which is what's happening collectively now, my head would just at times just kind of freak out, understandably, like. And I'm sure that appears for everybody differently. And for me, it could bring a lot of anxiety, which made my body freeze up. And then, like, dropping into the body, particularly through movement, it was like, oh, here is a truth. And here is like my soul's breath. And it was like I discovered a whole new patchwork that was still intact. And it's like a whole other realm. And so I love like how it's the bit in your bio, I have it, I don't know what I've written it, but like, movement's been a lifelong practice for you, and what, you know, it's so important. Yeah.
And as Gabrielle Roth used to say, you know, you can't think your way into clarity.
Right.
And so often we're you know, that's another collective myth, is that you know, we can think ourselves into some kind of emotionally intelligent place. And no, body's so quick and direct and straightforward compared to thinking. Not that there isn't a place for thinking, of course there is, but when it comes to kind of sorting ourselves out, it's body first. Yeah, there's a place for understanding and cognition and thinking, and definitely, but body first is kind of the right way around.
Yeah, I feel that too. And I think also that's because simply we're at a pace of such disbalance at this point. It's gone so much the other way that
Mm,
simply to find that equal balance, which is
mm,
perhaps what we're always going for, mind and body dancing equally, the same as masculine and feminine dancing equally.
mm.
It's just that at the moment it's like this. So
Yeah, although I'd say I'd put us more as a trinity. We're
mhm.
not just mind and body, we're mind, heart, and body. And that the heart is
Mm,
something, another thing. Like we got
mm,
our body, which is, you know, animal. Hello, we are physical animals, and then we've got this emotional sense, which is the business of connecting with each other. Really,
mm,
it's not just about me and my feelings. It's the ability to connect with someone
mm,
in a really felt sense way is the business of the heart, and
mm.
and and the heart has this whole radar for how to conduct the business of relating in a way that works for everybody. So we get a sense when we're mistrustful of someone, we back off. That's the true function of fear. And we get a sense of when we need more boundaries and when we need to change things, and that's the true function of anger. And we get a sense of when we're hurting and we're grieving, we need to just let something go, and that's the true function of sadness. And then
Mm,
joy can become that real radiance where we just light each other up. But that's not mind or body. That's heart. That's the business
mm,
of the heart. And then the mind has its own duality, I would say, with intuition and intellect as co-conspirators on a
mm,
mental level. So I would say we're a trinity of body, heart, and mind. And that
mm,
trinity, when it's really functioning properly, is rather than us kind of feeling one thing and thinking I shouldn't be like that and then doing a kind of half-hearted maybe, we're rather than that, we're functioning as a kind of seamless whole and holy creature where
mm,
all those three levels of us, body, heart, and mind, are in sync. It's all in a sort of resonance. Then you got soul. That's soul.
mm,
And that movement is a very fast way to become aligned in that way. Because when you move and breathe and pay attention to what's happening, your feelings will become entrained within your movement. The body and the heart naturally get in resonance with each other. And then when you pay attention to that, the mind is on board too. So it's a very quick way to unify body, heart, and mind and become soulful.
mm,
So yeah, I recognize what you're saying about you know, through movement, you get in touch with your soul. Yeah, I totally agree.
mm,
It happens through the body because we are physical creatures and we work
mm.
well that way.
That's beautiful. I've never heard that Trinity described like that before.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's beautiful. And so, Adam, you have this your practice 01,
Mm-hmm.
and the whole what you're putting out in the world. What's happening next with that?
Mm. Uh, I am just beginning to explore um, how to help some other people to teach what I'm teaching. It's time for me to begin to pass on what I know.
Mm,
And at the moment, it's just super small group, just people I really know quite well, and I've invited personally. But that's the big new growth in my own teaching is it's time for me to pass it on.
mm,
I'm getting on. I'm in my second Saturn return, and I can feel it. It's time to pass on what I know, and I'm super excited about that.
mm,
But and I will keep doing what I'm doing and working with people as I always have done. And I love what I do. I really, really love it. It's it's such a blessing for me to hold space for groups and individuals. I work with individuals sometimes. Um, to hold space for groups and for people to open up and experience ourselves through movement there's nothing like it. It's such a beautiful environment, and I, I love being in that environment. So I'm I'm just going to keep going with that. And there is an unfolding over the years. There's definitely an unfolding, which probably the people who work with me see more clearly than I do. You know, quite a lot people say to me, "Oh, Adam, you're a lot more gentle than you used to be." Because I used to be one hell of a fireball and drive people quite hard. But of course, that was really all about me and my desperation for connection and awakening and not being stuck. And I think one of the things that has come to me as I've got older is I'm happier, you know. So it's like I have this growing sense of actually arriving where I've been striving to be. And of course, you know, the mystics are right. You know, you sort of realize, oh, I've been here all along, actually. But there is a sense of, oh, I'm actually okay. And in one very real level, I really wasn't okay. And I growingly am more and more of the time. I'm just okay. And I think that comes through in my teaching, and it's sort of easier and more delightful to work with people because I'm not needing them to wake up for me. It's a bit embarrassing when you realize what you were doing. When I realized what I was doing. But you know, we all teach what we most need to learn, and that's just the way it is. It's all right. There's nothing wrong with that. That's just the way of being human. We help each other, and people find their way to the right teachers, I think, at the right time.
Yeah. And you have a free gift that people can
I do.
claim. Can you tell us what that is?
Well, there's two bits to it. So one is a music mix, a little bit like the one you just danced to. I think it's 12 minutes long because, I mean, you know, when I first started practicing movement, I came off the back of a 10-year meditation practice. It was very strict. You practice, you sit on a cushion for an hour, you know, and it's timed. You know, you have to sit for an hour and every day. So I sat for an hour a day for 10 years, and then I found the 5 rhythms and I started dancing, and there was a sort of crossover period, but I really just started dancing for an hour a day then. And I did that religiously for a long time. And then there was one day where I realized that I was being much too rigid. There's actually a whole long story about that, but I won't tell it right now. And I just sort of loosened up, and you know, we're busy. People are busy. So I don't think you need to practice for an hour for it to be effective. If you do practice for an hour a day, it's like putting a rocket fuel injection into your situation, you know, and a lot of stuff will start to happen. And I'm writing a book about how to do that at the moment, actually, called Pathways Home. It'll be out sometime. I'm not going to say when, but I'm writing a book on it because I'm passionate about home practice. Like, practice. Don't wait for more events like this. Go sign up on my thing so you can get the free gifts of a music mix, and you practice for 12 minutes. Move, you know, and feel what it's like without anyone guiding you. Once Ellie and I are gone, do it. You know, and then there's also a little booklet. So I'm writing a book, but there's a booklet that you also get as the free gift called the 3 essential do's and don'ts of home practice. So it's just a very kind of 3 little nuggets of what you should do and what you shouldn't do to have a decent stab at doing a movement practice at home. And you can get both the booklet and the mix through the URL that Ellie will provide with this call.
Great. Okay, that's lovely. Thank you, Adam. So you can contact that link by just scrolling just below the video. And if you go just a little bit lower, then there's also a link to Adam's website. Oh, that's the same. It's the same. The same link?
It's the same. It's almost the same link. I think the link to my website, it takes you to the homepage, and the free gift thing takes you to a sign up page where you can claim the free gift.
Got it. Yes. So you can check out more of the magic that Adam is sharing and connect more if you so desire. Okay.
I'll say one more thing that I haven't given you a link for, but just say it. Like, you can go on Vimeo. If you go on Vimeo and look up maths, movement, and mysticism, then you can watch a short film about the most iconic equation in the whole world of pure mathematics and see what it has to do with you as a human being.
Yes, I would recommend. I'm glad that came up. There's so much more we could have talked about, and that, you know, they're just
There
different
is,
time.
yeah.
But in this video, guys, Adam brings a perspective to things that I've never heard before, and it's fascinating. And go and find out why pi is the mathematic symbol for the body. I mean, that's what you say, right?
That is so.
I mean,
Yes.
there's so much more to it than that, but that really landed in me. Yeah, so it's really, yeah, it's very cool. So check it out.
Thanks, honey.
All right, everybody. So before we close, let's take a moment to drop back in as ever. So inviting you, if it feels good for you, to let your eyes close, or you can just let them rest with a softish gaze. And noticing now how it is for you, how it has been for you to move from this movement practice into this listening to the conversation. And now what is here in your precious body? Again, noticing that you're breathing and allowing any movement or sensation that you can feel as a result of the breath to be your gateway to noticing what is here in your felt sense. So whether you're noticing sensation, or even a sense of speed or slowness, and perhaps there's emotional experience here. And perhaps from this ocean of feeling, there is a sense of knowing or impulses or needs. When your native impulses are allowed to flow free, what do they tell you that you need? The radically embodied you will arise gently and powerfully as you welcome all that you are from the perspective of the body. Gets to be messy or tidy. You get to know or not to know. You get to allow the flow in your body and to follow what feels good. And so it is. And as we gently close here, I invite you to stay present with your body for as long as time allows. And if you do need to move into a meeting now or go and drive your car and your eyes are closed, I invite you to let them blink open and bring a little bit of movement, maybe some gentle wiggles to the fingers and toes. Welcome yourself back. Adam, thank you so much. It's been great, really great to have you here.
Thank you too, Annie.
And to you taking part, thank you for being here as well. And I wish you a beautiful or exciting or messy, delicious, surprising onward journey with the radically embodied you. And I'll see you soon.